Alright, so right now I'm working on my redcat shockwave. I've had it for probably about a year. Never really ever got it to run 100% perfect, really. I mean, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but when it does run, it's super fast. What I have done to it, though, is I have put a 2-speed transmission on here, which I got off from... Where did I get that from? I think I got it off of Wish, actually. And I also got this, the bell housing right here for the 2-speed. Got that all put on there. So what I'm doing right now, I think it has a SH.18 on there. Right now what I'm doing is I'm taking the carburetor off, which is this unit right here. Taking this off, I want to clean all the little needles and stuff that are inside of there. And you can see right here, there's a spot to take something off. Right there's a little screw head. Just when you're doing this, make sure you do it slow. This little piece of rubber right here will pop off also, and you can take all that out. Here's a screw for that right there. Try to remember how many turns. What I would do is turn it in all the way and see how many turns you had it at, if it was running all right. But I think for this, I think it's 3.5 turns for the high speed, 3.25 turns for the low speed right there. Right here is going to be your idle screw. They tell you never really to mess with that, but sometimes that doesn't go correct. I've never really got it to idle correctly. So I'm thinking maybe this whole setup right here might be bad, but what I'm going to do is clean it. How you get this motor off right here, you can see there's 4 spots down here on the bottom. There's 4 screws that'll go right here. Sometimes the wear will show you where they go back in. When you go to put it back in, it's a lot harder to do because you want to make sure that this bell housing is lined up with the gears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this stuff off of here, try to clean it out and all that. What I had noticed is, as I took that off, that down in here, where the gas and where the nitro and the air goes in, there's a bunch of dirt, a bunch of nasty dirt down there. So I think what I'm going to do is take the whole thing off. Also, if you ever want to change your pull start on these, and you got to take the whole motor out, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 screws right here that you have to pop off. And I'll show you after I take those out in a minute what you'd have to do after that. Alright, so now I have removed the 4 screws. Try to do this like this. But when you go to take these off on any of these Nitro RCs, I've noticed that there's springs in there, and you have to be very, very careful as you're removing this, and everything comes out. Alright, so there's that. There's the inside of it. I don't see no spring. Maybe this one doesn't have one. Nope, this one doesn't have a spring, but you want to make sure when you pull it out, on some of these, the whole inside of this section right here wants to pop out, and it's all coiled up wire, or I guess it would be like a wire, like a flat wire, coiled up in there, and that's what gives it the recoil action. So just be careful when you're doing that. But right here, you can see there's a bunch of dirt, grime, grease all in there, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to take the whole motor apart to try to clean it out. I think if I can get pull this out right here, which this just pops off. This is like a one-way bearing right here. Take this off, clean all this stuff up. I think what I'm going to have to do next is pop off those 4 screws right there and see where that gets me. I don't know if this plate pops off right here. I'm assuming it does. Yeah, I think it does pop off. That plate will pop off right there, so I can get inside of there and see if I can get all the rest of the dirt out and stuff and clean this whole motor up. So I'm going to pop that off, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I have taken off the 4 screws. Let's open this up and see what's inside of there. See if I can get it one-handed. I don't know if I can. Oh. Pay attention to what's in there. Looks like we have a gasket right there. And then this is what goes inside to the motor as you're pulling on it to turn it over. There's a little gasket. Try to remember how all this goes on. I'm going to have to take it and clean it all up because I got dirt right there and I want to try to put it back on. But now you can see the inside of the motor right here. See if I can do a little display. I'm going to have to get something to hold the camera, but you can see as the motor goes around right there, how it makes the piston go up and down. That's what's going to drive it and stuff. So you can see it going around right there. I don't really see a whole lot of dirt, not like that in there. I didn't really see it on this side. But over here, inside of where the carb goes, look pretty dirty. Let me see if I can roll it around. Alright, so I got it to roll around. Sorry about that. I seen a bunch of dirt in there. I don't know if it came off when I took the carb off, but I don't really see that happening, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. So I think I'm going to take some brake cleaner and spray it through there just to clean it out. But I'm going to do all that, put it back together, and see what happens. In a minute here, I'll show you how to take the carb apart. Alright, here's the carb again. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take off that piece right there. You can see it takes a screw. I'll be back in a second after I pop that off. I'll show you what's in there. And then I'll also pop this side off and run some brake cleaner down in there and let it dry and stuff. Alright, so I have loosened it. And then we'll see if we can get this off one-handed. I'm going to get a holder for my phone soon. Alright, so now we have it off. You can see right here, there's where the gas would come in. Right there. We also have, this is actually what the gas line plugs into right here. Then it goes in there and shoots around. And this regulates how much goes in and out by how far you have it screwed right here, because there's a little pin inside of here that I got to take out also, which I'll show you here in a minute. Alright, so here's the pin that was inside of here. Now what that pin does is got this little point on here. The farther you screw it in, the bigger it gets, so the less fuel that goes in. The more you let it out, the skinnier it gets, the more fuel it's going to let in. So that's going to be your, if you have too much, you're going to have to go in a little bit to try to regulate how much goes in. So we got that all out. What I'm going to end up doing now is I'm going to take this off right here, which that's going to entail is that screw, and then taking this little piece off right here. So I'm going to start that and then get back to you. Alright, to get that out, what I had to do was I had to unscrew this, which goes inside of here. So I unscrewed that, couldn't get this out. So this actually screws down in there, which I'm pretty sure goes into this slot right here. Now that's going to be your inlet for gas. This is going to be your idle, is going to be that slot, I'm assuming. I could be incorrect, but and then right there is going to be your slot where the gasoline comes in, a little spring to keep it in there so it bounces back out, and you let go of the throttle and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean all that stuff, brake cleaner, make sure it's fully dry, get all the dirt off, might run it through the water, then brake cleaner, let it fully dry, put it back together. And then I'm also going to brake cleaner this out right here, take the glow plug out right there, glow plug, take that out, and run some cleaner through there and see if I can get all that gunk out. I had removed the exhaust earlier, which is pretty easy to do. It's going to end up being 2 screws on this side. I guess this says VX16, I think. Yeah, VX16, but I think it turns out to be like a SH.18 or something motor. It's not a bad little motor. I mean, it's not the greatest in the world, but I'm going to get it all cleaned up. But right there's 2 hex screws that you just got to pop out. Then that'll release your muffler right there, but be careful because that gasket will be worn out because it gets extremely hot. So I'm going to clean all of this stuff, put it back together. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to take the motor out, you know, what the inside of the carb actually looks like, what it does. Like I said, that goes inside of here. It gets bigger as it goes up it. So the tighter you screw it down, the less fuel it's going to get. This is where the gas comes in, right here. This is the actual carb body. This is going to be your where your throttle linkage sets in right here, and it turns like this. It's probably like this, so as it turns, it's letting more in. And this is the screw for your low speed needle right here, which is for this, which I'm sure turns something inside of here. I'm thinking it pops out over here on this side, out of this hole in here, and that kind of regulates how the low speed runs too. So that's just kind of a little bit of info. It might help you. This is the pull start, the inside of it right here. Just try to, as you're doing this, take pictures, kind of each step. I like to use, I got this toolkit at Walmart. It's like a Hyper Tough. I've had it for almost a year. Ratchets, haven't had any problems with it. I mean, it's pretty durable. It's got the extender in there. It's got a bunch of pieces. They don't always fit perfect, but it works. And then I usually use a tray that comes right here to go over top of these and to put my screws in. So let's say I'm doing something in a process, I'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and kind of go back that way in order. So, and then this is also came out of here, and this is what goes onto the motor to turn it. And then this is also the one-way bearing too, just kind of like a recap. So I hope any of this information was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I mean, I have Traxxas, Redcat, a bunch of cheaper RCs, know a little bit about drones. Got the boat over there with a homemade trailer and stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.